So very quickly, I've had 30 plus years of experience of assisting companies to go international. So I've seen so many stories, good stories, bad stories, horror stories, and I'm trying to resume, to summarize some of my practical, very practical experience, what I have seen. So we talk US and Asia, two huge territories. So that's me, and it says what I've done before, not really interesting. So my main message is that most European tech companies need to go outside, must expand internationally, and primarily it's US, Asia, and Middle East. Why do you want to do international expansion? Number one, because you want to do sales. You want to increase your revenues. Number two, sometimes you do it because you want to get additional funding. You may want to go to the US to find a US investor. You may want to do it also to secure some international partnerships or do R&D with locals. When do you go? And this is where I see a lot of mistakes. Do not go too early. I've seen situations, one day, I have a guy who calls me and he says, Daniel, you're doing a lot of business in Asia. Can you open for us a subsidiary in China? I said, why? He says, because we want to open a subsidiary, we want to do business in China. I said, what do you want to do? He says, we want to send an intern for 6 months. So I said, you know what? Keep your money, don't spend it. You go to Asia when you're ready. It's too early. So don't go too early. When can you go? If you have products, your products must be already in the market. You must have clients, recurring customers. You must have money, because going international costs a lot of money. So you must have money available before you go, not after you go. You must have done a market study to understand the market, to understand the regulatory aspects, and the strategy to put in place. Before you go, you have to protect your IP, your patents, your trademarks, because when you go somewhere, there is a good chance that you'll be attacked by someone who's going to say that you are violating their patents, or you just want to use your patents to attack them. And make sure also you have looked and applied for the grants which are available. In Europe, we have a lot of government programs, Luxembourg, European, go and get what you can. That was when to go. And now how to go? If you want to go international, you have two ways. Number one, from Luxembourg or from wherever you are going to sell directly from here, from where you are, not opening a subsidiary. And the second one is to open a local operation. If you go direct, meaning if you want to sell directly from where you are to the end user, either a business or a consumer, you must obviously adapt your products to the local market. You must find a good distributor or reseller. Make sure you have the good contracts and have a good insurance. People always forget about this. If you go to the US, if you start selling direct from Europe products to the US, whether it's to a business or to consumers, you have a risk that they will sue you one day. And you know, in America, doing a litigation is not, something very common. So if you do it, have a good insurance policy with you. So if you are getting sued, you have someone paying for the lawyer and helping you on that. What are the pros and cons of going direct? The pro, clearly it's good because you don't spend much money. You don't need to invest in starting a company, hiring local people. You can start fast. You should find a good reseller. But the bad part of it is the liability issue, as I described, and also that clients do not see you as a local. Many companies, especially in the US, it's just stupid, but on their computer system, they cannot enter you as a supplier if you don't have a US zip code. So trying to do business from international sometimes prevent you from doing business with some clients. And clearly also it's complicated to get your product into the market if you do not have a local company in America. So in practice, going direct is only for very limited number of situations. So in most cases, if you want to attack a new market, whether it's US, Asia, or Middle East, you are going to start a subsidiary, meaning a company over there. So the big advantage of this is that you'll have your company local, and it can be looked at as being a local company. Also, it's a shield against liability, because if the company does something wrong, the liability goes to that company, but not to your parent company. Once you're there, it's much easier to get to access the market if you have a local company and local people. You can also get access to local investment programs. And like in America, there's this huge IRA program, which if you're a US company, you can do it. The minuses, of course, it costs more, especially because you need to build a team locally. And a team in some areas is very expensive. Because you don't want to take a cheap people. You want to take the best people in your industry so they can really help you do business. And you have to be very careful about the choice of people, because they are the ones who are going to drive the business. And by the way, one of the mistakes which I've seen happening many times is the CEO of the European companies decides to move to America or to Asia to start the business there. It's really good for the local business in that country, but then there is nobody taking care of the business in the parent company. And sometimes that gets to a disaster. So, okay, if you want to do a subsidiary, what do? You need to adapt your products. You need to really work on your IP and IT, file all the patents you can do. And I can tell you stories about this. I mean, why you want to do it. And insurance, same thing. Human resources. Hire good lawyers to have good contracts, because everything is contract. And have great advisors to help you. And the three people who were here before are really good people. You need to have people who are used to the territory and can really help you. Well, do not forget that you are not native. If you start a company in Singapore, if you start a company in Alabama, you are not local. So you locally take a local CEO, someone of good quality with a good name. Get a good group of people around you, whether it's in your board of directors or whether you want to do a board of advisors. Try to get visibility. Put together a nice stock option plan. So the US, the Asia employees are part of the family and they have stock options in the company. Buy visibility, because nobody would know that you are there if you don't have a visibility. And if possible, if you are serious about getting to those territories, try to get local investors. Okay, I have an international business expansion checklist. I will not read it to you. If someone wants to have it, you get the PowerPoint very easily. I mean, the organizer will be sending it to you. So this was in a nutshell, in 8.5 minutes, what I had to do. The biggest sentence, the best sentence, a venture capitalist called John Doerr said, "Innovation without execution is hallucination." I've seen so many companies with fantastic products, but they do not execute well. So it's innovation and execution, not only innovation. And execution is not easy to do, but it's indispensable. Thank you for your attention. Any question? We have 27 seconds. So. Okay. So you have my email. If someone wants the presentation, just drop me an email. I will send it to you with pleasure. Okay? Well, thank you for your attention. Have a good day. And I don't know what's the rest of the program, but have a great program. Bye-bye.